We'll be asking whether people should be fined for missing GP appointments. Now, I'd love your thoughts on this. Is the jail sentence handed to the Sycamore Gap criminals fair? 02078622222 is the number. The two men who cut down the tree, Adam Carruthers and Daniel Graham, have each been jailed for 4 years and 3 months. They'll both spend no more than 40% of the sentences in prison, and they will then serve the rest of their sentence on licence in the community. So we're just going to have a look. 4 years, is it too much? Is it too little? What kind of a person gets 4 years? Let's have a look here in our AI jail cell and just take a look at what sort of crime attracts a 4-year sentence. So we'll look at first at fairly recent cases. So in the modern age, given the jail overcrowding situation we've got, there are quite a lot of quite serious crimes that end up with 4 years. This guy, for example, did money laundering for romance scammers. His name was Ahmed Ali Suleiman, Nottinghamshire. We don't have a photo of him, but he used a second-hand clothes export business to launder funds raised in romance scams. So it takes quite a dastardly mind to put that lot together. It was a very complicated trial. He got done. He went to jail, and that was the sentence. Okay, so we're looking at 4-year sentences, and this footballer is another example who was a drug dealer. He played for Arsenal at one point. His name was Emmanuel-Thomas. He received a 4-year prison sentence. He orchestrated a £600,000 cannabis smuggling operation intercepted at Stansted Airport. So he got 4 years. 4 years. Who else would get 4 years? This is a famous case. Okay, Just Stop Oil. You remember the M25 blockades and so on. This is Roger Hallam. He was seen as the leader. 5 years reduced on appeal to 4. Everyone else involved in that case got 4. There he is. A lot of people said that's a crazily long sentence. We've then got some sexual offences: rape by stealthing, removing a condom during intercourse, Guy Mukendi, 4 years. Then arson and violent disorder, 2024, near Leeds. Serious crimes here, 4 years for them. And I did go into the domestic violence territory for you as well, because I thought, I wonder if that's a classic level of sentence. And it turns out a lot of people who've hurt their partner or partners get 4 years. Inga Sillins, Birmingham, wounding, coercive control. Christopher Spence in Scotland, multiple attacks on 3 women over 16 years. Nasty guy, 4 years. Jacob Rose, Nantwich, Cheshire, again, horrible behaviour with his ex-partner, 4 years. If we go back to the Victorian age, who was getting 4 years back then? The answer, this guy here, you won't believe this story. Thomas Hopley, Eastbourne school teacher, very strict. His dad, father of Reginald, a particular young lad, Reginald, Chancellor, said to him, look, beat my son if you have to. He beat him to death, and he got 4 years. So the son, age 15, was caned so hard he died. And amazingly, the parents kind of accepted it. And then it was other school staff who said, he doesn't just die in his bed like that. There's more to it. There was a full autopsy and he got done. Anyway, we're in a different era now. I know, because now that's life plus, isn't it? So is it right that these two got 4 years? Tessa, you go first.
It's funny there, because you listed all the equivalent sentences for other types of crimes. And I just didn't see anywhere any council player. The biggest massacre of trees in our country are local councillors, willy-nilly, sometimes in the dead of night, in the likes of Plymouth, taking out their chainsaws and knocking off hundreds of trees. In fact, so bad was the case in Sheffield that
Sheffield was the one, yeah.
Subsequently apologised.
Yeah.
Plymouth, Sheffield, a lovely series of palm trees taken out in Torbay and Cornwall.
But at least that's done under legal.
Whoa! Who's making
umbrella?
Up the rules,
I don't know.
If we're crying over trees.
Whoa!
This is a case of the child, terrible Imogen, who dies in the dinghy, and we see her face and we know her name, and she's 7 years old, and we can track back her genesis to Iraq, and we suddenly feel differently about people coming across in boats. We pivot because of one small girl or one beautiful tree, and we flip everything around, and we forget that actually
that's strange. What a strange argument.
No, it's not a strange argument.
Because you're saying that the council did a terrible thing, but they didn't?
No, I'm saying they did do a terrible thing.
Right.
They did a terrible thing, but somehow we almost forget just how many trees we massacre every year.
So many trees are cut down that this shouldn't really register, Wilfred.
This is just nonsense, okay? Because them cutting down that tree is a representation of what's going on in our society. I'm so glad, first of all, that
they're being made an example of.
That one of them filmed the other one doing it, and it's heartbreaking to see it.
It is so important that we sent a big message, because the biggest concern that I have is what's seen as soft crimes. People commit these crimes knowing that there isn't going to be any harsh treatment.
What's an example of a soft crime?
It's shoplifting. Shoplifting, the arrogance, the way they put in, knowing that nothing will be done about it.
Stealing someone's dog is now on the same level as stealing their mobile phone.
I'm telling you, and what we need to do, we need to demonstrate that every crime is going to be dealt with severely. It doesn't necessarily mean you end up in prison, but with the technology... what I would do is very simple, is that all the stuff that they have to wear, these, these ankle bracelets, okay? You just get them to wear that, and for shoplifters, I'm quite happy to pay to have a monitor, so the moment they come into the shop, it actually...
It goes off, It alerts. All right, we'll take a break. We'll take your calls right after. Big disagreement here. Is it too harsh? Is it too light? 4 years and 3 months for the Sycamore Gap pair. 0207 862 2222. Back to your calls on whether the Sycamore Gap pair's jail sentence of 4 years and 3 months is fair. 0207 862 2222. Lynette in Cheshire. Too much, too little, or just about right?
No, I think they needed to be sent to prison because that's what the British public would want to see after such a hideous crime. It was premeditated. And we're paying to keep them in prison now. But when they come out, instead of coming out on licence, I do believe that they should come out and pay back to the community, and they could be sent to work in the forestry or on the sides of the roads, picking up all the rubbish, the brash. Better still, working with the Forestry Commission alongside all these men that work so hard looking after all these trees, picking up the brash and being made to put something back into society, not just going into prison, which will only be about 2 years anyway, and then coming out on licence.
OK, good thought. Yes, alternative. We heard suggestions yesterday, the stocks properly charging them for the damage, which would bankrupt them both, take their houses off them. All kinds of creative solutions. Plant a tree a day for the rest of your life.
But that's what we should all be doing. I think earlier what I was trying to say was, fine, pillory them, make an example of them, lock them up, do what you want to. But let's not run away from the fact that 105 acres of trees has been eradicated from Britain over the last 20 years. In the continent, in Europe, 38%.
105 acres doesn't sound like very much.
105,000.
Thousand, OK, because I'm going to say...
13% of Britain has tree cover in this country, 38% in Europe.
But
we have not got enough trees. It is the point.
It is not the point.
We're decimating our trees. That's just one tree.
The point is this, is that what type of society do we have that two idiots could think they could go and do that and there wouldn't be a consequence? What that is telling us is that as a society, we have got soft crimes.
Yeah, but we don't
and that we
trees.
need to put a message to people that if you think you can do something stupid, there is going to be a consequence.
Yep.
That is the message we've got to get across.
Right, Lynette, thank you. John in Birmingham, do you think this gives the right message of you will be punished, this jail sentence?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that they get 4 years and 3 months for chopping a tree down that nobody cares about, nobody's ever heard of. What about you, Edward? What about you, Edwards, who convicted paedophile, got £1 million pension and a slap on the wrist?
Well, yeah, I mean, that is a stretch. I know a lot of people were very angry that Hugh Edwards did not go to jail for what he did. That's for sure. I find it difficult to read across from one to the other. They're so different. I mean, in the end, let's just stick on the Sycamore Gap, because the issue here is it you're thinking it's lenient because no one's heard of the tree? Mate, we've all heard of the tree. Everyone's seen it in Braveheart.
No, we haven't. 90% of the country have never heard of the thing. And that lady says on your panel, there's hundreds of trees cut down every day.
There are. The private landlords.
Maybe we're all being sort of duped into thinking it was a famous tree because we only...
It doesn't matter whether it was a famous tree. I think we're getting caught up with the fact it doesn't matter if it's famous.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't. It's about antisocial behaviour. That this antisocial behaviour that
But you wouldn't get 4 years for cutting down a random tree in a park.
I'm trying to say we need to send out a message because there's too many soft crimes that are being committed, and they're being committed because there is this sense that there is not going to be a consequence.
John, listen to it. We've got the audio of it being cut down. We should show this. This is one of these clowns recorded it on their mobile. Let's have a look and a listen.
Vandalism. All done for a laugh. This is outrageous.
John, don't tell me that doesn't break your heart when you hear it.
Yes, it did. It's wrong. For 4 years and 3 months for cutting a tree down. Somebody cut a tree down over the road from us, just because it was hanging over the garden. And that was 150 years old. He didn't get 4 years.
Thank you, John. We are killing trees daily. The National Trust says we don't love our trees.
But two wrongs don't make a right.
Yeah. No, but we pillory two individual men where actually the corporate crimes happening at council level. You're worrying about antisocial behaviour. I'm telling you what, our prisons don't have room for all the naughty boys and girls.
You don't. I'm not saying you have to go to prisons. There's something as a society we've got to do to stop this way of behaviour. That in our society, that two guys could go out, have a drink and think, oh, this would be a fun thing to do. Let's go and knock down that tree. That tells you that actually there's something with our society.
But they are. There is a punishment they're going to face the rest of their lives, which is that every pub they ever go into for the rest of their lives, people go, oh, there they go, the Sycamore idiots. The Sycamore idiots. Yeah. And it'll be all the jokes of, before you get your pint, mate, there's a tree in the car park. Don't you think you should be cutting that down because it's quite a nice? You know what I mean? They'll have that for the whole of their lives.
By the way, they're not talking anymore, so they won't be drinking in pairs. They've fallen out. And the other thing is they practice cutting down a tree before they cut down this one. And I think we're being treeist. One tree is more valuable than another tree. A tree's a tree. We need trees.
Yeah. Okay. John, thank you. I mean, we are treeist because clearly one tree is more valuable than another tree. Well, I've got a tree in my back garden. If someone cuts it down, I'm not going to be too bothered about it.
Why not?
If someone cuts that tree down, it's in a place where it looks amazing. It's been in films.
But you're missing the point, Jeremy. The reason why we're heating up and there's drought warnings all over the north of England and none of us can breathe in London half the time is because we don't have enough trees.
Okay.
13%. It used to be nearly 100%.
Yeah, but two wrongs don't make a right. David in Cheshire, hello.
Hello.
Right, help us out here. We think it's too light. We think it's too heavy. We think they should get I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's not appropriate. They could have come up with something more, an alternative.
Go on, because we've had a few creative suggestions already.
Right. The old-fashioned crosscut saw and an axe or two, maybe 100 ton of useless timber that's only fit for wood burning.
Yeah, I've got you. Hard labour. Yep.
Yeah, hard labour. No telly in the cell. No like that. A meal occasionally. Get on with it.
Well, you know, hard labour's got a bad reputation, not least because when people got unfairly convicted, they ended up sort of broken. But what is that crazy, Wilfred, to think they could be put to work somewhere just chopping wood?
You see, what I think is that these two guys, they already regret what they did. I think there was something about one of the guys almost thought about committed suicide, okay? So they've recognised that with this massive backlash, it was the wrong thing to do. What we're all focusing on is what is the appropriate punishment for these two guys, okay? I'm going way past that. I'm saying that this is an indication what's a bigger problem in our society.
But you don't punish, I know, but hang on. You don't punish people based on what it's an indication of.
Well, I would.
Do the facts on the page.
Yeah. Except when we had the riots last year in the wake of the appalling deaths of those child dancers in Stockport, we did actually see example sentencing, I think, where very quickly to stop wildcat rats, we made an example, we put them in prison, etc.
Good point.
And I think this is a case of, you can't vandalise, or is it you can't cut down trees? And what I'm trying to say is I want this message to be heard at a corporate, a white-collar level.
You have said that.
I know, I want to say it again and again. And don't cut down the tree in your garden,
I'm not sure about saying it again and again. Sorry, OK. Douglas in Devon, hi.
Hello.
What do you think? We don't know what to say about these sentences. I don't know what to make of them.
First of all, I think they should have a jail sentence, but short. But the appropriate treatment, punishment would have been to give them the birch.
OK, so you go lenient on the jail sentence and then you want to actually knock them around a bit.
Slap them.
Well, the birch, a piece of wood, it seems pretty appropriate form of punishment as far as I'm concerned.
Well, why don't you hit them with a tree then? I mean,
yeah, that'd be fine, yeah.
Yeah, OK, all right. I mean, in the end, I think listen, I was caned at school, right? When I was on my last day at school.
Only once you got caned?
6 of the best, yeah.
Only once. I got caned all the time, so you were a good boy.
Well, it's now illegal.
Well, you see...
And you can't hit these guys, it's illegal. So, but I see you want that back, Douglas.
The birch would be appropriate.
Okay, no, it's tree-based material. Yeah, okay. I think they get a lot of sympathy. If you started to hit them, use corporal punishment.
The other thing that's interesting is look how we've suggested the punishments are chopping wood or using another bit of dead tree to whip them with. We don't respect our trees, do we? We're talking about chopping them and we're talking about using them as a form of corporal punishment. Actually, the whole point of this, surely, if we flip it round, is about revering our trees and looking after our trees. And I think that's surely the bigger message, isn't it?
I'm just watching those pictures and, credit to the police there for looking.
Because I think if it was all about punishment, well, you wouldn't be giving them a jail sentence because they're punished enough now. We've already said that actually they're not going to be able to go into a pub. So, so the sentence, it's more than actually punishing for the crime. It's sending a message.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Douglas. Douglas wants the birch. Martin in Sheffield, do you want the birch?
Absolutely not. I think we're looking at society about why two people would do such a horrible thing to a tree of significance. And trees
it's good you've rung from Sheffield because Tessa mentioned Sheffield because you had a famous Sheffield tree thing and this is absolutely on Tessa's point. The council cut the trees down. They shouldn't have done.
What happened then?
Exactly, and it was horrific. It's like been years and years of trees are part of our earth. Trees are part of what we should do. But when they did that, it was abhorrent.
Yeah, and they apologised.
Absolutely abhorrent.
Yeah.
They weren't sent to prison.
They weren't sent to prison. And I don't even know whether they justified it it was for a shopping centre or something?
Yeah, but
cleaning up the town?
Retrospectively, they agreed that they didn't need to.
No, it's a bad one. Martin, thank you. Later, it's the